Gotta lock up. You wouldn't want anyone breaking into our house with no windows. La sua fa deka ti hoi ya bubu deka abe ya bubu si.
La sua.
Ye hobe di be ye bubu ta o be ta si be lai.
Nothing.
Okay, so what we just said is the sound the water's full of sound. They're like that. However, their sound is not the strongest thing. The verse we're going for is mightier than the thunders of many waters, mightier than the waves of the sea. The Lord on high is mighty. So you got to start by saying, what are the two things we're comparing? We're comparing God's greatness to the greatness of the sound of water, and we're comparing it to the greatness of the waves. So the first one is, though the waters are full of sounds, really big, even though they're like that, these aren't the most high. Now, go ahead, Dave. Lo, baby. Lo, isi bo, yede, so I fu I bubu tasi de be. Yede, so I fu bubu ta o be tas be lai.
Oh, tas be lai.
O be tas be lai de. That lo isi bo.
Lo isi bo.
That?
Lo.
Oh, lo. That lo lai. Punchline on Turu is we have 9 consonants, 6 vowels for our alphabet, and then we have 6 tones, which is different than our alphabet, which is 26 in the English alphabet, I think. Yes, I can't speak English anymore. One of the unique things about this Turu language is it's a tonal language, which in English you can change what we call intonation on the word, and it changes its meaning. So I said, I'm going to the store, versus my wife says, hey honey, you're going to the store, and you say, I'm going to the store, and now I've changed the meaning of the word based on my intonation. But that doesn't, it carries across the whole sentence versus single words. So in Turu, we have 6 primary tones that have different sounds, and so we have key word cards which help them to know. So this would be fi, tu, de, and these 3 tones would be si, fu, going up, fie. So it's great when they're all different words, but the fun is when you do this. Now these are 6 different nouns, like 6 different things that you could see, and they're all written with the D and the U, but have this different symbol on the top, which represents the path that the sound follows. And so this would be do, 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 do. So catfish, horsefly, son-in-law, flea, and then which would be tree, and this would be like water bug. So you don't, now I say them in English with the tone, but I could say tree, 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 and it always means tree. But in Turu, if you change the sound that gets made on the word, it changes the whole meaning. So in order to even communicate the most basic thing, you have to consider the 9 consonants, the 6 vowels, and the 6 tones, which sounds just like a melody, and it's kind of fun and at the same time incredibly difficult the whole way through. What boy basically? Do, bigo, lo, bigo, lo. So we're trying to get body of water. So bigetado be like bahde lo,
Lo.
ba lo,
Lo.
lo,
Lo.
ta
Lo.
lo, ate.
Lo.
Lo, you want them to learn to read God's word, which is important. But if you don't teach them to read see spot run, run spot run, they're not going to be able to read anything in the Bible. So these are a bunch of stories that we wrote. This one would be it's a version of the tortoise and the hare, but it's called the cassowary, who's the fast running bird, and then the slow walking, like sloth type mammal. And so it's a story about them racing and cassowary being arrogant and stopping to sleep and stopping to get water, but I think it's awesome. This is Aesop's fable. It's the wolf in sheep's clothing, so to speak. So it's the idea of trying to give them different types of stories that can teach morals. So all these stories are written in Turu. We created them, and the students to finish the class at the end, they have to have read every one of these 20 different books before we're done. Yeah, for the most part they get it, but there's still a value piece on reading because it's not part of their culture. They never had it. It becomes mute, but they don't have a passion for it because they don't have anything in print. So you can teach them to read and write, but if they have nothing to read, then they're just going to throw it away in the recesses of their mind. So the goal is to get them not just God's word, but get them more. And actually, I just finished printing the Joseph story. So Genesis 37, 39, 40 through 45, and some into 46, and then 49, 50. But the idea in the Joseph story is it's a contained unit of God's word that's a narrative. So it follows the progression of a man's journey, how God interacted with him, and to them that's more palatable. It's an easier jump in than say going to something that's a little more weighty. So this next week I'll be able to, with my students, give them like God's word in the language for the first time, and they'll be able to sit and actually read it on their own, which is just, it's almost mind-blowing considering it's been a long journey here and you never thought you're going to get to that point. So sometimes you do things like writing stories like The Tortoise and the Hare, not because you care about fictional stories or moral-filled stories, but because there's a bigger purpose. It's so hot, where are we going to sit? A lot of my time is spent both teaching tutor people how to read and write their language, and then also working to train up tutor people, both men and women, who are capable to teach so they can then teach others.
Thì đào tour bo ilo biha, tabu tour bo ilo biha, beda gaha ala bo dia biha selo lao gue ilo biha, boko gue sote gue guru leh biha, lawe laki abibide, lawe laki polis bibide, lawe selo guru la bol be
bo ala bo lu bo tu bo le toi be lu ke he de se la yo guru le be ke du la ke be se bo bi bi ti ya le bo de ka sa bi bi ti sa ko bi ha de sa abo he do bi ha